So what insights did I glean from this week in Major League Rugby? Number one, Rooney are for real. Number two, competition is tight for the 4 playoff spots. And number three, in order for teams to be successful, they have to maintain focus and minimize mistakes for 80 minutes. So why, in my mind, are Rugby United New York a contender to be in the final? Why is it that they're for real? Number one, dominant forward play. They're very good in the scrum. They have an excellent front row. They've got Paddy Ryan and Alex McDonald anchoring those two sides, and they have a guy in the front at hooker who does an excellent job linking up with his line-out crew and does a great job in the loose, and that is U.S. Eagle Dylan Fawcett. In the second row, they have Eagle Lock John Quill, and they have Nate Brakely as well, also in the Eagle mix. They do a good job securing the line out for set piece play. In addition, they have loose forwards that are really strong. One in particular that stands out is James Dennis. 2 weeks ago, he scored 2 tries and looked excellent in loose play, a machine that got around the pitch very well. So look for them to continue to excel in the forwards. But they also have excellent backs. Mike Pentry is an excellent link between the forwards and the backs. He's a good connection piece and has a strong relationship with Mattis on the field. And finally, the guy to me that is an absolute standout in MLR so far, Ben Foden. Ben is an English cap fullback that has a ton of experience, and it shows. He rarely is out of position at fullback. And that is a critical piece to their success because they played in some really difficult weather positions thus far. Snow, wet, cold, windy. And in all those situations, he does not find himself in a bad position. In addition, he is like a surgeon knifing through the opposition in the attack, and he is excellent under the high ball. These 3 qualities and traits make him the best fullback in the league in my mind, and they are key to Rooney's success as we move into the thick of the season. So what do we need to keep in mind as we transition from week 7 to week 8 in Major League Rugby? It is this: the race is tight for those top 4 playoff spots. So what are we seeing in the table? Number one, it's awful lonely at the bottom, while that competition is heating up at the top. There are 5 total points that separate first place NOLA from 6th place Toronto. We see Austin Elite at the bottom with an 0-6 record. And while they have an awesome logo, and I love my Austin Elite murdered out hat, they have a lot of work to do. But if there's anything NOLA has told us is that good player management and personnel can take a team from a bottom in one season to the top of the charts in the other. 2 teams to be on the lookout for are Houston and Utah, respectively. Both teams are teams capable of beating teams at the top of the table. And they showed that in the last 2 weeks. Houston, with a 1-4 record, took Seattle to the brink last week in Major League Rugby action. With 70 minutes left, Houston looked in control of the match, putting pressure on Seattle, ultimately to see that slip away. And Seattle secured the victory with 2 big tries that shifted momentum. With a 1-3-1 record, Utah should not be taken lightly. 2 weeks ago, they took NOLA to the absolute max. In a cold, miserable conditions, Utah looked to have that game locked, only to allow NOLA to continuously put pressure on them inside the attacking 22. Penalties killed them, and ultimately, Scott Gale sent a pass out wide to Nick Feeks, who dotted it down for the game winner and his 3rd try of the match. And who can forget this factor, and we have to remember this. Of those top-ranked teams, 2 have 1 bye week left and therefore have a game at hand over the top-ranked sides. It is NOLA and Rugby United that only have a bye week left, with other teams having 2 bye weeks left. Given their situation in the table, particularly NOLA, who are 2 points up, just coming off a bye week, look for them to be in the mix as we continue to move through the remainder of the season. So why do teams need to maintain focus and minimize mistakes? Well, it was a key factor in each and every match during week 7. Rooney put points on the board early and often, putting Utah under tremendous pressure in blizzard-like conditions. And in an attempt to try to get back on the board and back in the game, Utah committed turnovers. They committed mental errors that led to penalties. And ultimately, one of those turnovers led to an intercept try that put Rooney up 14-0. And that only exacerbated the situation. Toronto, traveling out to San Diego by the 51st minute, was down 17-0. Their backs were against the wall. They looked to be out of the match. But we know the Canadians to be a resilient squad. They fought back, and they scored 21 unanswered points, getting 2 tries from Avery Ottoman. But San Diego, we know they're a tough squad, and they would not give up. They fought back. They looked to have some momentum. They looked to be in a position to threaten to score and steal the victory, ultimately to let a penalty kill their opportunities in the waning moments of the match. This mistake was critical, and San Diego lost an opportunity to win points over middling Toronto Arrows. All right, hey, we got our picks to click in this segment. It's kind of a special occasion. I got my son Preston back from college. He's playing at LU, so he has some interesting insights. Let's start with Friday evening match. Toronto is traveling to Rugby United New York. Who you got in that one?
I got Rooney. They have put up some particularly good games against NOLA. Was a standout, but they're going to be at home for the first time, and Toronto just keep running through on their away train. And I think that's really going to take it to them, especially because Rooney's now going to be home with people behind them. And I've seen photos of even the subways having Rooney all across them, so I think they're going to have a good crowd.
Yeah, that's what I'm really looking to see is what kind of crowd they bring to see if they can match something like what's happening down in NOLA or out there in Seattle. So speaking of Seattle, there's a doubleheader on Saturday evening. Seattle travels to Austin. Preston actually was down doing the tour. The Lions were touring Texas a couple weeks back, and he went to an Austin game. What was your take on Austin?
I thought they played pretty well. They played Utah Warriors. They had a couple key individuals in the backs that played particularly well, but they didn't come together as a group, and that's why they keep losing games, I think. I'm going to take Seattle in this, although J.P. Aguirre, who is a Lion, just signed on today, and I think he's a guy a lot like Nick Feeks. He particularly plays center, but I think he's going to come on as reserve at wing, center, fly half, fullback, anything and everything. I think they might push in the second half or maybe even the first half like they did last week, but I'm going to still take Seattle in this one.
So you're looking for JP to come on and give them a little boost there. Yeah, I agree. I think Seattle's going to win that one as well. And then the second game of that doubleheader, NOLA travels to Houston. I really think NOLA is going to bring a nice crowd to Houston. It should be a really good game. I got NOLA. Who you got in this one?
I got NOLA as well. They're just going to keep pounding. Houston's missing some areas that they can really improve upon. They're still down on the list. I just got to take NOLA. With Nick Feeks sitting on the wing.
Yeah. Nick's on the wing. Shout out to Nick. And they got Tristan Blewett. I think they have their best back line set up for this match, and they've got Cam Dolan back. And I think they're going to have some good forwards, so they're going to be tough to beat. Finally, on Sunday, we got San Diego traveling to Glendale. I think this is going to be the best match of the weekend. Tough one to pick. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think Glendale's going to take it. I didn't watch Glendale last week, so I wasn't sure if they had Sean Davies back, but ARC is done, and I think they're going to be at full power if he is back, and I think they're just going to run through and keep moving up in the chain of the ladder. So,
yeah, and I think Sean does a really nice job commanding and the forwards and backs and being that linkage mechanism. So, I think I'm going to pick Glendale in this. Although look for Joe Peterson from San Diego to have a nice game. It'll interest to see what he does. So that's it. I think we're in agreement, right?
Yeah.
We got Rooney, we got Seattle, we got NOLA, and we got Glendale?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens, folks. Thanks. Enjoy the matches. So this is Hammer Rugby. I'm Rob Hammerschmidt. I want to thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to see in upcoming episodes. In addition, check out Biz Rugby and the 1014 Rugby, two great YouTube sites where you can get a lot of information about international rugby. And both of those sites are going to be hot on the heels of the Wales-Ireland Six Nations match. There's a lot of good rugby this weekend.